Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Vakil. Let's take a look at the headlines. Markets gave up opening gains on the last trading day of the week. The Nifty trades little change around 10,980. Stocks like Hemen and Kapadia Ceramics are seeing an increase in open interest with fresh longs added to both stocks. Yes Bank is the top loser on the Nifty and the stock is down for the second straight day. Real estate-focused NBFC Altico Capital defaults on interest payments of 20 crores to a Dubai-based bank. Indian banks also have a sizable exposure to this NBFC.
Okay, those are the top headlines for you at this hour. Let's quickly tell you what's happening with the markets on this Friday morning. It's been a flat start. We have seen some bit of correction since yesterday, which was also the weekly options expiry day. And remember, yesterday we did defend the 20-day moving average on Nifty at 10,960, which I think we're just about trading around those levels, or rather breach that mark of 10,960. First mark to be watched today on the downside. Probably if the markets were to trend lower from these current levels, 10,900 will be another level to be watched out. But having said that, the broader markets have also seen some bit of a breather after gaining in the last 4 to 5 sessions. So mid-cap index is down about 0.7%. Pull up the market breadth. That's going to give you a better picture of the entire listed universe. So as you can see, when we opened, there were more of advances, but some bit of selling seen on the last trading day of the week. Sectoral gainers, IT is bounced back, by the way. So markets are down and you see IT stocks doing well once again. Auto has been recovering in the past few days. So Nifty Auto Index has also seen some bit of gains, whereas your sectoral losers this morning are the indices like PSU Bank as well as the Pharma pack. So autos, I guess, given up all the gains that we had seen in the first hour of trading. 2.5% lower, by the way, for Nifty PSU Banking Index, and Pharma is down about 1.3%. Very quickly then, let's just pull up the futures as well, Nifty as well as Bank Nifty futures, and check if there is any sort of fresh build-up that's coming about. On Nifty, just about 1.5% higher. Remember, the premium on the futures have come off from those levels of 30, 25, now to about 12 to 13 mark. Bank Nifty, which saw unwinding largely yesterday, open interest fell about 10% and it's up about 10% now, at least in the first hour of trading, and that's been underperforming Nifty. 27,600 is the mark where it's trading. Option side, what are the levels that you can watch out for the next weekly expiry scheduled on September 19th? Look at the distribution now. Maximum open interest on the call side is at 11,100 and on the put side it is at the 11,000 strike. Remember, on the upside, we've been telling you 11,150 remains a very crucial mark. That's a major resistance that we've been facing right since previous series also of about in the August series. And on the downside now, I think you can watch out for the 11,000 mark. So 11,000 to about 11,150 is the trading range probably one can watch out for next expiry, Agam.
Okay, well, there you have it. That's your view on the general markets. Let's talk about a bunch of stocks which are also in focus in today's day of trade. In terms of those which are looking at a surge in open interest, and we do have Hemen and Kapadia Ceramics right at the top of the list. While Hemen sees fresh shorts, Kapadia Ceramics is looking at long positions being built. L&T Finance Holding is under pressure yet again. It's down around 5%, and we're looking at 11% increase there towards shorts. Back on, of course, we've had some positive news, but that hasn't really done too much to uplift the stock. And CESC is also among others, which are seeing some amount of traction in OIL. Are we looking at any declines in open interest? Not really, not too much to speak for in today's day of trade. So let's keep an eye on, well, some of those stocks which are actually seeing an increase in open interest. Well, a few of them include Hemen and Kapadia Ceramics.
Okay, so those are the stocks which are active right now, and on the show particularly we'll be discussing these 3 stocks. IndiGo is right on top of my list, reason being it touched its all-time high levels yesterday. There were fresh long positions seen for this counter. So far in this calendar year, despite of the co-founders being at loggerheads in the month of May or June, the stocks rebounded quite sharply. It's up about 46%. L&T Finance Holding is one of the top F&O loser. It's been trading below all its key moving averages. And lastly, some recovery seen for Motherson Sumi. Today, particularly Goldman Sachs has upgraded the counter to buy, though the target price they've cut it just by about 3 points to about 121.
Okay, there you have it. That's well, some of the stocks that we are going to address in today's GF Trade. It's time to get in our experts for today. But before that, here's a reminder. If you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us on 022-4540-4141. Or, of course, you can write to us on our social media pages, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube with the AskPQ hashtag. Let's get in our experts for today then. We have Hemen Kapadia of KRChoksey and Nilesh Jain of Anand Rathi joining us on the show. Good morning to both of you, and thanks for taking the time out. Hemen, I'll start with you. Your view on the indices, where do we go from here?
A very good morning to you, Agam. Thank you for having me on the show. Like Navneet said, there's been long unwinding, and I still feel that I have been maintaining it's a recovery, a bounce, not a rally. But I believe that is not yet over. We've seen a move from 10,750 to almost 11,000. So we're sort of correcting a bit. Yeah, there should be some more pain, but closer to 10,920, I think the downside would appear relatively limited. So I would be slightly more bullish than bearish. But yeah, if you're going to take the day for today, I think yes, some of the indicators have signaled weakness yesterday towards the close itself. And we've broken the last 16-hour lows. We made a distribution pattern on the hourly chart. So simply put, today I think it's better to avoid. But yeah, in terms of a strategy, I'll sell the 10,600 October puts because I don't think there's too much of a downside below 10,850.
The view coming in on the index from Hemen. Hi Nilesh, good morning. Would you use these cooling off opportunities to create any fresh position on the upside, or you would wait for a meaningful directional move first to come on the indices?
Good morning, Navneet. Good morning, Agam. Yes, definitely, Navneet. In fact, we have seen sort of selling pressure in the morning sessions, but there could be possibility of Nifty finding support near 10,900. So that is the immediate support that we have. Although we have seen some sort of unwinding on the call side, on the put side from the 11,000 strike, but at the same time, it again holds the maximum open interest. So today we'll be getting weekly closing if at all Nifty manages to close above 11,000. So that will be a big positive for the next week. At the same time, we are expecting some sort of pullback rally maybe in the second half from the levels of 10,900, 920. This is a major support zone as of now. On the higher side, again, we have immediate hurdle that it needs to be surpassed, which is placed around 11,000. Now, if you look at the structure for the Bank Nifty, again, similar to the Nifty, yesterday it has formed shooting star kind of a candlestick pattern on a daily chart, which is again on a negative side. We may see some sort of selling pressure in Bank Nifty. 27,450 is immediate support. We may see Bank Nifty retesting those kind of levels. On a higher side, it needs to surpass about 28,000 for the fresh momentum. So trade as of now is better to avoid. Wait for some sort of a correction, then one can go long for a pullback rally.
Okay. All right, then let's talk about stocks. Nilesh, I'm going to come back to you on, long or short ideas that you're looking at in today's day of trade.
My recommendations and one sell. I want to start with Infosys first. We have seen some sort of a positive attraction in IT space after correction of almost 4 to 5 trading sessions. So Infosys looks positive on the chart after fall of a 4 straight session. Today we have seen some sort of a recovery. It has retested its previous breakout level. So looks positive for the upside target of 856. One can keep a strict stop loss below 810. My second buy recommendation would be on Titan, where we have seen higher top, higher bottom on an intraday chart, on daily chart as well, with a positive buy crossover on MACD. So one can go long in Titan future with a strict stop loss of 1086 for the upside target of 1125. I have one sell recommendation in GAIL, Gas Authority of India Limited, where we have seen lower top, lower bottom with a sell crossover on MACD. So it looks structural weak. We have also seen a sort of a short build-up position. On the downside, the target that we are expecting is of 121. One can keep a strict stop loss of 126.
Okay, so those are two long and one short call coming in from Nilesh. Hemen, what about you? What are the individual stock futures where you're recommending trading?
Yes, I think as far as individual stock futures are concerned, I like HCL Tech. We've seen minor OI long build up as far as the IT as a sector is concerned, Navneet. So I would go long on HCL Tech at around 1060, stop loss 1052, target 1076. Yes, we are seeing once again very minor 0.5% sort of a long build up. It's oversold. We see some sort of a recovery coming in, and 1050 has been strong support which we haven't broken in the last month or so. So playing for a bounce as far as IT is concerned. And the other stock which I think is worth a trade is Sun TV. I'll like to tweak the figures a bit. So buy Sun TV at 445, stop loss 440, and target 457. The outlook remains similar, Navneet. We're oversold, and once again, in a market which is slightly iffy for a couple of days, I'm seeing some long build-up, minor. I mean, it's almost 2%, and we've been remaining positive, oversold, positive divergences. Like I said, there is weakness today, but I don't think there's too much of a weakness beyond a day or two, so I wouldn't recommend a short. Yes, intraday there could be, so long on Sun TV also.
Okay, well, from there on, let's move on and talk about some of the stocks that we want to talk about, discuss in today's day of trade, and some very interesting stocks too we have lined up, and some which don't always show up, but when they do, we do have a lot of, we have a flurry of activity in some of them. Of course, one of them is, well, IndiGo. I'm going to start with Interglobe Aviation. It's trading around its lifetime high right now. It's gained as much as 46% on a year-to-date basis, and a lot of investors and traders will be wary of trading in aviation stocks. That said, Interglobe Aviation specifically has had a relatively steadier run when it comes to its trading activity. In fact, it's doubled over the last 12 months, so there certainly is a lot of momentum in its way. Even if you consider the last 3 months gains, well, it's not as significant, of course, because of the kind of volatility that we've seen, but, well, it's advancing all the same. And, well, okay, so there you have it. It has advanced from around 1,350 odd levels in the second week of August, somewhere around. And since then, it is now at around 1,700. So there is a little bit of a momentum coming through for Interglobe Aviation. Nilesh, why don't you go and tell us about how would you address this stock if you would initiate any position, long or short, and what levels would you watch?
Well, Agam, you rightly mentioned we have seen a rally from the levels of sort of 1100 in the recent times, and recently the rally that we have seen is from the levels of 1300 in the last 2 months. So overall, the structure of this IndiGo is quite positive. It is making higher top and higher bottom. Also provided fresh breakout in the previous month from the levels of 1600. Now, since then, it has retested those level twice a time. From there, we have seen recovery. Now, this overall structure looks positive, no doubt about that. On the higher side, the immediate level that we are expecting is of 1800 or maybe 1900. From the positional perspective, one can look for the target of 2000 as well. But the idea to trade in this kind of a particular counter is extremely volatile. One should wait for some sort of a profit booking or mild correction, which may come in this particular counter towards the levels of 1650. So 1650 to 1680 or maybe 1700, this is a particular trading range. One can go long in this range with the strict stop loss below 1600. On the higher side, the immediate target that one can look for is 1800 to 1900.
Okay, 1800 or 1900 is the level that you can watch out on the upside. Yesterday, the stock touched its all-time high levels and some longs were seen on the future side. Let's see whether the upside continues or not. But the next counter is L&T Finance Holdings, which is, by the way, your top F&O loser also for the day. The stock's seen correction of about 4 to 5% today. And of course, it's been trading below all its key moving averages. A laggard when it comes to the yearly performance as well. The stock's down about nearly 40%. Hemen, it's already down 4 to 4.5%. Would you take a bet on the short side at current levels? If not, people who have already initiated shorts here, what levels would you suggest to book positions at the lower levels?
Yeah, it's showing a big short build up Navneet, obviously, around 11.5%. But I am not very bearish at this point in time because, Navneet, if I look at the charts, we spent what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 7 weeks, Navneet, in a range obviously between 106 and 89. And despite multiple attempts, we haven't broken this on the downside. So despite the short buildup, yes. Okay, coming back to your main question, we're at 91.75. I'd book half or most of my shorts because, yeah, if 89 breaks, I think there'll be pandemonium. But I still feel the market bounce is not yet over, and some of the daily mechanical indicators still remain in a buy mode like the MACD. So yes, a sell-off, no doubt. Short build-up, yes, but I would prefer to take some profits home, and I wouldn't leave a short position on till Monday. I believe there is a press conference at 4:15 like every Friday. So maybe something comes in, maybe something doesn't come in, but no, I won't go carrying a short home as far as L&T Financial Holding is concerned in the weekend.
A very pertinent point made out there by Hemen because we are likely to see, and this is again only expectations with respect to the finance minister of who is going to make some sort of announcements which could have some repercussions when it comes to the entire financial sector. So wait and watch, and you never know how things can pan out. And as Hemen has suggested, if you want to go short on this, well, it will be a relatively riskier bet considering, well, all attempts by the government for now are to improve the state of the financial sector. So just wait and watch. But with that, let's move on and talk about one more important stock, and that's Motherson Sumi. Well, we all know that it's not exactly turned out to be a great year for Motherson Sumi. That said, well, Goldman Sachs for now is taking this opportunity to initiate and in fact upgrade it to a buy from a neutral stance, and it's cut its price target from 124 to 121. That is not a significant cut at all. But the suggestion is that the prospects look better from here on for Motherson Sumi. We must remember that it was trading around levels of around 180 back in March of this year, and from there it's come off and it's trading. In fact, at one point in time, it was trading well below the mark of like 90 rupees per share, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it's seen a little bit of recovery in the last 2 or 3 days. The real question is, what do we do from here, and is this up move something serious to think about? So, Nilesh, this question is for you. How would you address Motherson Sumi?
Well, Agam, if you look at the structure of the past 1 year of Motherson Sumi, it's clearly visible that stock is in a negative trend, making lower top and lower bottom. Now, recently, it has formed double sort of a pattern at the level of 91. So that is the crucial level on the downside. Well, this recovery that we have seen on the daily chart, it indicates it is likely to carry forward going forward as well. On the upper side, 115 is the immediate level to be watched out for. That is a breakout level. If at all it breaks above the same, then there could be possibility of a reversal in this Motherson Sumi counter for the upside target of 130 as well. So yes, we have seen sort of a base formation in this particular counter. All the auto counters, in fact, are showing some sort of a importance of this reversal. We have seen reversal in all the auto space. So there could be possibility in Motherson Sumi as well. We may see some sort of a upside towards 115 sort of a levels.
Okay, that's Motherson Sumi for you, up about 3%. We have seen a rebound in a couple of these auto and auto-anchored stocks. Let's start addressing some queries that we're getting. Lalit Akare writes to us on YouTube. Thanks, Lalit, for your query. He sold Kotak 1520 call strike at a premium of about 8.9. What he wants to know is whether he should continue holding this position till expiry, or he should just choose to exit at current levels, considering he's in the money right now. So he's betting on the downside for Kotak Mahindra Bank, and the premium he shot it at 8.9. It's already at 7.6. Hemen, the stock has recovered from last week's lows of about 1410 to 1470, but Lalit is still in the money. Would you advise him to hold on to this position till expiry, or he should just look to book his profits currently?
I think he should book his profit the second that we are even chatting right now. I think the NAV is facing a problem. At least my NAV is having issues, the trading software. But book now, please, because multiple reasons. We are seeing 4.5% long build-up, Navneet. The stock is on the verge of giving an upward key reversal today as far as Kotak Mahindra Bank is concerned. And yeah, like you said, we saw a sell-off and we saw equally strong bounce back. And I think the bounce back is not yet over. We should be going to 1520 or 1530 by the end of the month. So I would suggest book profits. If you're in the money, take some money home.
Okay, well, that's your view on, there you have Kotak Mahindra Bank. In fact, a pertinent query there. But let's move on and also talk about some of these auto names which are actually looking at some amount of traction in towards the positive side. The real question is, are these gains here to stay or no? So if we can actually pull up something like a TVS Motor Company, or for that matter, Ashok Leyland, because there's been a little bit of a gain. Of course, a TVS Motor Company has given up its gains from, earlier today. And Ashok Leyland is continuing to hold on to its gains. Again, as I've suggested, that there has been some amount of an up move. But the real question is, do you take any position here, or do you just leave it the way it is and avoid before you actually start seeing a trend establish? Nilesh, this question is for you. how would you address, what would you do with something like a TVS Motor Company or for that matter Ashok Leyland in terms of trade, or would you want to avoid taking any positions right now?
Well, Agam, the overall auto space are moving in line with each other. In fact, TVS Motor that you spoke about, it has rallied from almost 6 trading sessions. In the past 2 sessions, we have witnessed some sort of profit booking. But the overall trend that indicates the reversal that we have seen from the lower levels, it is likely to carry forward. There may be possibility of some sort of profit booking. So that profit booking should be utilized as a buying opportunity because all the auto space has formed some sort of a base formation. Now the reversal is very much likely. We have seen enough of a downtrend. Now there could be possibility of a strong pullback followed by a strong up move. So I would suggest in TVS Motor and Ashok Leyland, one should look for buying opportunity on every dip. As far as TVS Motor is concerned, on the upside, we are expecting a target price of 415 to 420 immediate basis. One can keep a stick stop loss below 350. As far as Ashok Leyland concerned, the breakout is although awaited, which will come above 65 kind of a levels. If at all it breaks above 65, then one can straightforward go and initiate a long position. On the downside, one should keep a stick stop loss below 60.
Okay, that's the view coming in on a couple of these auto stocks. We've got two queries actually on RBL Bank. So one's from Deepak. He's sold the futures at 366. He wants to know whether he should hold or exit. He's in the money right now. The other query is from Anand. He wants to know whether for this expiry, can he buy the RBL Bank futures at levels of 360? So Hemen, I'm going to come to you. First, somebody who shorted at 366 and he's in the money because the futures at 359. Should he be booking profits here? And also, would you advise someone to now create a position in the upside at current levels?
RBL Bank has finished or exhausted its weekly down move now. And what we're seeing now is a retracement of the rise from 290 to 380. So I think this could play out for a couple of days. And we could see 350 on the downside. These are cash levels now. So if he's got a short position, I think he probably needs to keep today's high as a stop loss or book it towards the end of the day. Once again, like I said, I'm not very much in favor of holding a short position going into the weekend. So yes, he's in the money, I think, or maybe, he can keep the last hour's high as a stop loss. But yes, it could go down a bit. The indicators seem to suggest some sort of a decline, and yes, we've had a very smart run up, and even the F&O seems to suggest a 6% short build up now. So yes, wait a bit, but ideally take if you have two lots, book one, and then if you want to take a risk to carry over till Monday. But yeah, towards the end of the day, I would look to book profits. And the other person, if he wants to go long, I don't think this is a time yet, because the move, like I said, 280 to 380, that's 100 points. I would not touch the stock going long before 350. Ideal time is somewhere between 340 and 350, but one would have to look at the situation later and review it, because the early, 2 hourly, 3 hourly charts have shown some weakness, and this could spill over for 1.5 to 2 days. So I think I'd wait just a bit. Currently, it doesn't look like a long.
Okay, and from there on, we move on to a query from Shubham Kherodia. He wants to know if there is any trade in the pharma stocks, specifically Cipla or Aurobindo Pharma. The difference in Cipla and Aurobindo Pharma is Aurobindo has just, inward, just starting to move upwards. Of course, notwithstanding the 1% down move that we are seeing today, there is a little bit of an increase as far as its price movement is concerned over the last few days. Cipla, on the other hand, is the exact opposite, because there is the gradual shift downwards for Cipla over the last few days. So, Shubham wanted to know if there is any trade here. Nilesh, is there? Would you do anything with either Cipla or Aurobindo Pharma?
Well, both the counters seems to be a bit exhausted. In fact, Oro Pharma, we have seen some sort of a profit booking from the high levels after rally from almost past 8 to 10 trading sessions. So there could be possibility of some weakness in overall pharma space going forward. But as far as Oro Pharma specifically is concerned, there are multiple supports. starting with 600, then followed by 585. So these are the major support level. Out of Cipla and Oro-Pharma, I would prefer to go long with Oro-Pharma, and I would better suggest to avoid Cipla because it is making lower top and lower bottom clearly in the downtrend, and where we have seen some sort of a weakness from past 5 to 10 trading sessions. On the downside, 450 or 455, these are the support areas. We may see Cipla testing those levels going forward. So overall, one can go long in Oro-Pharma, better to avoid Cipla for the time being.
Okay, that's the view coming in on these pharma stocks. We've also got a query on Just Dial. Let's just pull up the futures of Just Dial. Samat Goyal writes to us, and he has bought the futures at 718, and currently I believe it's below his buy price, so 714, and I guess the futures are trading at a discount as well. So he wants to know what to do with this position of his. And stock actually has today taken support at its 50-day moving average of about 721. Hemen, what would you advise if somebody is bought at levels of 718 on Just Dial futures, which are now below buy price of about 718?
It's showing a short build-up now needs Just Dial, I think around 9%, but I would not take that very seriously. I would suggest a cash market stop loss of 710. I think if that breaks, I would be worried because the 55-day exponential moving average is at 708, and what has happened is we moved from 655 to 758, so it's been a 100-point move, and yeah, we walked into a corrective phase. So, and if it's a stock that moved 100 points, give it some time and price retracement. That's what we are looking at. So I'd suggest keep a stop loss of 710 in the 710 cash market stop loss, and yeah, and let's wait and see. It doesn't look very exciting simply because I don't think the market is in such a situation that after a 100 rupee rise, which is what, almost 15%, the stock is going to run away. So it's stagnated and it could take some more time to consolidate.
Okay, that's the view on Just Dial. It's been a volatile counter. It's also a high beta counter, so stay careful when you're trading in stocks like these. Before we wrap the show, I just want to take a quick look at the market. So nothing's changed. We're still around the 20-day moving average of 10,960, exactly at those levels. So let's see where the closing pans out. And broader markets too have been facing some bit of cool off, or rather they're taking a breather after rallying in the last 4 to 5 sessions. Sectoral indices as well. You've got the metals now, which are down about 1%. Pharma continues to be a drag in today's session, but your top gainer on Nifty right now is Titan. That's up 2.5%. Hemen, just a quick thought on Titan. It's rallied 2.5%, trading above its 50-day moving average. Would you take today's move as an opportunity to create any position on the long side?
Yes, I think they're heading towards 1130, but yeah, if I were to take an intraday call, I think I'd still stick to IT now, because I think we've been down for 5 days, and when the market goes down, the defensives save. So yes, Titan looks good, but I would still prefer something in IT.
Okay, there you have it, guys. We've run out of time on the show, so I'm going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Hemen and Nilesh, for joining us and taking us through their views on the markets. For more updates on the F&O space, you can always check out our website, bloombergquint.com, specifically the futures and options pages.
It's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show, but you can stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint for more news and updates.